Okay, so good morning, good day, good evening to all, and welcome to our first Facebook Live, where you can learn about the Gender Just Climate Solutions Awards and how to apply. My name is Anne. I'm based in Munich. I am a member of the Women and Gender constituency, and I have the pleasure to co-chair this discussion with Kalyani Raj, based in India. As you may know, the awards we're talking about today were launched in 2015 by the Women and Gender constituency. The Women and Gender constituency is one of the 9 constituencies that represent civil society and participates in the United Nations climate negotiations. Our role is to ensure that the voices of women and gender minorities are heard in the climate negotiations and that their rights are upheld. Gender equality must be fully integrated into all climate policies. And why that? Because the responses to climate crisis should not exacerbate these inequalities. And on the contrary, climate policies should be inclusive. They should allow women to be fully actors of the ecological transition that we need. So today, we are very pleased to welcome Berta Chiroro and Sonita Mba. They are both award winners, and they illustrate this ambition that we want to combine climate action and gender equality. Berta received the awards in 2015, while Sonita is one of our 2017 Gender Just Climate Solution awardees. They agreed to share their story with us and to tell us how these awards increase the impact of their projects. Thank you to both of them for being with us today. One last point before we start. Do not hesitate to ask your questions via the chat on Facebook. We will answer them during this session and at the end. So, as I said, I'm co-chairing this Facebook Live with Kalyani. And Kalyani, you are also a member of the Women and Gender constituency. You've been actually a co-focal point of the constituency. Let me ask you first, what do the Gender Just Climate Solutions Awards bring into your work as a member of the Women and Gender constituency? I think you need to unmute yourself, Kalyani.
Sorry about that. Yeah, hi. Good morning, good afternoon to everyone. And as Anne mentioned, I'm Kalyani Raj. I'm from All India Women's Conference based out of New Delhi, India. So to answer your question, as a member of the constituency, the award brings me a good positive vision, encouragement, connects me to women across continents, and particularly in the current situation, it gives me sort of something additional to look forward to. I think the awards have led to number of micro enterprise or ventures initiated by women from different parts of the world, and that's such a great feeling. And that's so much a part of our work, encouraging women to come into this field and then come up with some initiatives. So yes, the awards, as I said, it does bring me a very good positive vision. Thank you so much. And Bartha, I think I'll turn to you now. Good to see you. And just to give you all our viewers a clear idea or understanding of all the discussions we are having today, Batha, could you please tell us in brief about the project you received the award for, and what was the objective for the project, and what is your concrete role in it? Batha, please, could you unmute? Yeah.
Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to this talk that we're going to be discussing with you. My project was, my name is Berta Chiroro. I'm from Gender CC Southern Africa, Women for Climate Justice. And the project that made us so popular, even as gender CC from the beginning, and to begin to get the recognition that we currently have at the moment, was called the Sustainable Use of Natural Resources to Improve Climate Change Resilience in South Africa, a grassroots women's initiative. It was funded by the European Union, as well as there was some co-funding from Oxfam. This project's objective was to ensure that grassroots women who are mostly living in poverty are able to manage and use natural resources to improve resilience to climate change, to contribute to sustainable livelihoods. And what we ended up doing was to ensure that there was a lot of capacity building of the communities, the women living in poverty, to ensure that they build in biogas digesters that were producing energy for heating and cooking within their communities. These are rural communities without access to electricity or to any other form of energy, and also to use rainwater harvesting, because there is a scarcity of water within the areas that we work with, and at the same time to be able to embark on implementing sustainable farming methods. And this was like a whole three-pronged method which enabled them to be able to adapt to climate change, to learn what climate change was all about, and also at the same time to provide them with sustainable livelihoods and food security.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Partha. And I think I am one of the privileged one who has visited the project when we came to Johannesburg for our Gucci meeting, and I visited. It is such an integrated project you have there. Thanks so much. And I'm sure you would have felt so proud and happy receiving the award at that 2015. But tell me something. What precisely did you feel when you stood there receiving the award during the COP? What was going on in your mind?
When we applied, we just thought this is just entering into a competition, a competition show. But the pride that it gave us, the recognition and the celebration that happened afterwards, I felt so honored, and that feeling that we're doing something that is right, and these gender just climate actions are being recognized at an international level. It gave us even more energy to come and even do better, and even to increase and scale up most of our activities within the communities that we work with. So it gives us really a sense of pride, and also to realize that what we are doing is the right thing that we are doing if we are going to be able to adapt to climate change.
Yeah. So right you are. We are doing the right thing if we are doing the right to working on the climate change adaptation. So rightly said. I completely understand how you felt. Also, I know that WCF and the CTCN had conducted mentoring program for the awardees. I think what 2 years ago. Were you able to attend it, and did the program help you in any way to enhance the impact and benefits of the project?
Yes, indeed. On a yearly basis, we had the ability to be invited to the COPs and to participate in the COP, which was also quite very important, so that we learned of what was happening, the discussions, and even following some of the discussions, and ensure that gender equality becomes a cross-cutting issue in all issues within the COP. So that was very important. And also the mentoring itself brought us together, and we learned. For example, our project, we were struggling with one challenge of scaling up and also having a sustainability strategy. And the teaching from the WCF and the mentoring, the programs that we managed to get from there in terms of how we can scale up together with the CTCN, made us to be able to scale up the project to other provinces as well, rather than just working in 3 provinces. We end up scaling it up to other provinces. So we ended up learning more about entrepreneurship, other climate smart enterprises, and also even how to write proposals and how to make sure that this project actually becomes much more involving of the different stakeholders that we wanted to involve on the ground.
Yeah, great, Bertha. That's so nicely well put. Scaling up, which is really so important for any project. Um, and that brings me to the next question. You received the award in 2015, and I'm sure the project was running for some time when you received the award. So I'm very curious to know in what way the recognition at an international platform and the award add value to the project, or what I mean is, did the award result in any change in the project in any matter? As you just described, a lot of positivity, or in whatever way, did it change the project functioning in any manner?
When we received the award, the money that we received, although some people would have seen it as a token, when we came back, people felt more energized. And we
Mm,
plowed it back within one of the communities that we were working with. And they started to expand. And there was even a trainer of trainers among those women buying some climate smart technologies that they were using in order for them to be able to train other women and other communities, especially the women and the youth, in order to be able to use solar panels and also
mm.
to build biogas digesters. And there was a kind of a ripple effect, which actually led to the creation of small to medium enterprises that led to sustainable livelihoods within the communities.
Hmm, great. And there itself, you like sort of displayed how you learned the business senses, like also along with the project, plowing it back. The benefit was plowed in back into the business. That's such a good entrepreneurship quality. Thank you so much. And my last question to you would be, as you are aware, WCF calls for the Solution Awards every year. So, as an ex awardee, what would you advise to project leaders of any gender responsive climate initiatives, or let's say, how would you encourage them to apply for the awards?
I would encourage everyone who is doing the project, no matter what they're doing, even at whatever corner of the world, to be able to raise whatever they are doing to ensure that it does have a climatic impact, a gender impact, to ensure that there is involvement and in terms of building resilience. And that way, whenever a project is locally led from local resources, it actually is easier for it even to become even scalable. And that is what I encourage a lot of people. And the little things that people do within their communities, thinking that they're smaller, those things of which you'll be using your own resources are actually what we need in order to deal with the climate crisis.
Thank you so much. So well put. The little things matter. What they have, that's what you need for the future awardee, and that sends out a very clear message to all the future aspirants. Thank you so much, Bartha. It was lovely talking to you. And I hand over to you now.
Thank you, Kalyani. Thank you, Berta, for your testimony. Amazing how your project has been transformed from a community based action in one place to something that has upscaled and be replicated in different provinces with a wonderful ripple effect. And also you being able to influence your climate policies at home in your country. Now, let me turn to Sunita. So, Sunita, welcome to our Facebook Live. Thank you that you are here with us. You come from Cameroon and you received the awards in 2017, where at that time we were in Katowice. Tell me a little bit about the goal of your action and what are your accomplishments?
Thank you so much, Anna. Actually, we were in Bonn, I think.
Yeah, in when you received the awards, I remember that you were not able to make the travel.
Yeah.
So we had you on the phone to get the awards, and some of your colleagues received the prize for you, and then you joined us the year after in Bonn. And that is actually the good thing about the mentoring program is that we are able to re-invite our award winners every year. They come back at COP. That's how we form this family that Bertha was talking about. So now the floor is yours, please.
Yeah, thank you so much. And yes, my name is Sonita, and I come from Cameroon. And the project that won the award is from Better World Cameroon, and Better World Cameroon is this grassroots initiative in Cameroon, and we were working on the African kitchen revolution. And the objective of the African Kitchen Revolution is to empower and build capacity for local women to be able to have self esteem, especially to take up construction technologies and to be able to build local buildings, but start with learning how to build earthen cook stoves. Um, and from building these cook stoves, they start to transform also the cooking methodology, because in Africa it's a three-stone fireside that most women use. But also the objective of this program was to for them to participate, to engage women to participate in climate mitigation, and equally to engage them such that if they cook faster, if they're able to cook faster with this amazing technology, then they are able to engage in local politics and participate in leadership opportunities. However, one of the strong components was to empower women to be able to, yeah, to engage in financial mechanisms in their local communities, to be able to earn money, to create something with their own hands, to earn money, and to send their kids to school, to live a better lifestyle. Yep.
Yeah, so a truly empowering initiative and action for women in Cameroon, in small communities, in rural areas, and also an action that really addresses one of the main challenges on climate action, and that is the energy transition. So it must have been indeed a frustration when you were not able to come to Katowice in 2017. How did you feel then when you arrived in Bonn the year after in 2018 and you were able to share, the feelings of the award winners of the next year, and then also share the workshop and the mentoring skills with us?
I mean, like now I just went a little back to that time, and I remember feeling really, really excited. And I also remember telling myself um, that the stories definitely shape us and shape me. But I remember the experiences, and the milestones are just profound. They are incredible. And so that time I just focused on the milestone, and it gave me so much pride to see that the energy that the local women are putting in, that is heard at international levels, and that the voices of women are finally being heard across Africa and beyond Africa. And to see that the award was not even for the organization or for myself, but it was empowering the local women who did not go to school, who have not felt valuable for so many years, who have been always talked down, who have talked down on themselves. They have not felt that they did something really good for such a long time. And they are part of a community or a continent that is always told that you are not good enough. And so it just felt that something was real here, and that it is empowering, and that journey was just profound.
Were you able to meet with some of the policymakers where you were in Bonn? And how did that transform your action? What changed then afterwards?
Um, a lot of things changed. So first of all, the money from the award enabled us to go beyond, because we were first of all just working in a region. We went beyond the region and went into other parts of the country. And most of you listening or watching would know that Cameroon is a bilingual country and speaks English and French. So there are two controversial parts of the country. And it's quite an art going between one and the other. And actually, this is what flowered from this project, is that we were able to, the women went into other parts of the country, even at the time in the war situation. It was beautiful to see that such a project that was meant to just mitigate climate change was then led to supporting or encouraging women in war situations to actually talk to each other. And even when they don't really understand each other, because the women who were training did not understand French, and the ones who were being trained did not understand English. So it was just magical. However, we went beyond the country and we got a consultancy to work in Zambia, a project that was financed by the Scottish government. And we worked with empowering 50 women and men in Zambia to build rocket stoves. And so far, they built over 7 of them.
Oh, this is amazing. So your project actually had a real positive influence on peace building, what I hear from you, and this is really amazing. And then you were also able to really replicate your model, because this is a true model of success, what you have been building there. And you were able to replicate, or at least to share lessons with another country, Zambia. In Zambia, we actually have an award winner, Clive Shibule. Now, tell me a little bit again. Were you able to share these lessons with policymakers? What was their reaction when you were at COP?
Um, I would first of all say that they could not believe. I think most of the policymakers, when I even had conversations with them, outside of the official environments where we were making the presentations, they asked me like, "Did you even come here by yourself?" And all the time, this question fascinates me because still there's a feeling that, oh, we cannot just travel across the world and go somewhere and present something. I think we are really breaking boundaries here, and these politicians, they see it. But also, I remember. And that when I presented also the project at the Women's 7 in Paris, the preparatory meeting towards the G7, um, this was also very well received, and there were a lot of women in high political levels who were super excited about the project, who asked a lot of questions. And I also quite remember that since then I didn't get rejected from attending the club, but it was a very good feeling to present the actions on the ground in Africa.
Yeah, thank you, Sonita, for this testimony. Indeed, this is really what we want to achieve within the women and gender constituency, this transformative approach, this ability to make the reality of the ground touchable and understandable for policymakers so that they change the way they do their policies, right? And I can tell you that all your experiences, all your projects have provided us, me at least, so many positive illustration of the advocacy points that we're trying to push forward, like the need for gender responsive climate finance, for example, or the need to really integrate gender much more strongly into technology transfer. Because as you prove it, Sonita, your technology that you have developed, and you also, Bertha, these are technologies that are sometimes only for men, or they are being developed by men, and the communities thinks that women are not able to work on such technologies and to develop them. But you have proven exactly the contrary, and that actually by doing so, women bring in climate resilience into their communities, and they are empowered, and they are able to shape a new transformative way of acting against the climate change. So let me turn now again quickly to Kalyani to ask her whether she had also an opportunity to use illustrating those projects, to use it in her advocacy when she was discussing with policymakers.
Yes, and we did have, and in fact, the project which got the award, that was the energy project. I remember that was in, I think, Rio by earlier, and some of the other projects which we had also showcased during the awards. Most of these projects all caught the attention of the policymakers, and they were inquiring about it, but we had certain limitation in taking it forward. So that's where it stopped. But yes, definitely it did have very good response from the policymakers as well. And I'm quite impressed with the way Sunita mentioned that they broke barriers. I mean, they crossed borders. That's really something. That's such a big achievement, and we all, and then policymakers influencing policymakers, because that is one big challenge I think a lot of us feel. A lot of us face this challenge of influencing the policymakers and doing advocacy work with them. So I'm so glad that the project gave them the opportunity to be successful in that. Thank you.
Thank you, Kalyani. So now let's turn probably to some of the questions of our audience. I'm sure even if they are not writing their questions in the chat, that they are wondering how they can apply to these awards. Was it difficult for you, Sunita or Berta, to fill in the form? We have an online process, so everything can be done online. How did you feel about filling in the form, the application process? Was it difficult for you? Berta, maybe you can start.
It wasn't difficult at all. When I saw it, it was simple. It was an online. I just put in my name and the pictures of some of the areas that we put in, and from there, and then we're to write in terms of what was the project's objective, the goal, and also in terms of ensuring what it wanted to achieve and some of the achievements that the project had actually initially achieved, which was mainly about empowering the women in the grassroots communities. So it was a very simple thing that I did, I think, on a very few minutes. And then what was much more interesting for me was to put in the whole climatic impact, to say what value is it adding to the issue of gender and climate change. And for me, that was very important, that we're bringing these local initiatives that are happening on the ground, and we're actually talking about them even at the international level, so that even our government began actually to begin to say gender equality is a cross-cutting issue in all climate actions.
Right. Yeah. So for our listeners, it is really important that you measure your impact indeed, and you try to be as precise as possible, not only on the activities that you have conducted, but the results that you have achieved. Sonita, did you have any challenges in filling in the form online?
Actually not. I was also quite fascinated like Better that it wasn't difficult, and I remember also just learning about the award 2 days before it was closing, and I filled it in like 3 hours and it was done. It didn't take time at all, and I remember one part that struck me was about the how is the project being financed. And then I felt like, okay, maybe because we're not getting money from a big donor, we will not get selected, because our project was just financed through crowdfunding. And And so and it was a few thousand euros, and so I put that in, and I was quite surprised. So again, this is quite telling that it doesn't matter how big or small the project is. What is important is that it has a holistic approach to sustainable development, and this is really crucial.
Absolutely. Yes, you're right. Our intention is really to give opportunities to extraordinary actions that take place in the ground, on the ground, and that are not necessarily known or not necessarily financially supported. What we bring, of course, is some financial support, the invitation to the COP, so the opportunity to exchange with policymakers, with those who are in charge of global climate governance, and then also to meet other award winners to exchange about the experience and to receive this mentoring program. So that is the chance that you have now if you want to participate and to become a candidate to this awards. For this year in 2021, you would be invited to the COP26 in Glasgow, and you can apply until July 31st, 11 p.m. CEST. Or 11 p.m. ET, sorry. In any ways, you will see it on our website. You have all of the links on the Facebook page, and you just need to follow. You can apply in 3 different languages, and you have until 11 p.m. on the 31st of July, 11 p.m. New York time. So now it's precise. Also, what else can I tell you? We have very transparent criteria. We have an independent jury composed of different members of the Women and Gender constituency and some of our partners to evaluate your applications. And you can review all those criteria in the online form, looking at the online procedure. So do not hesitate to also come back to us, ask questions. We've put here also on the Facebook page some email addresses where you can send us your questions if you have any. And we look forward to receiving your applications. And so let me thank again Sonita, Kalyani, Berta for being with us today for this Facebook Live session. I think this has been really enlightening and inspiring, and we hope that we will receive a lot of applications. I wish you a good end of day or a good day to everybody, and I say bye-bye for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Anne. Bye.